All right, so to use the calculator, I'm going to show you a couple of different things. You may still need to find whether you're doing it by hand or not, they may still, one of your questions that you might have to do will be to find the value right here of your critical value, that number off the T chart. Okay, I've shown you how to find it on the T chart, but your calculator will find it for you as well. Um, all you have to do for the calculator is do just like we did on the other ones and find this area right here. And we find this area right here the exact same way you did it on the other one. You say 1 minus 0.95 and you divide it by 2 because there's two areas. There's this area and this area, and they will have the same area. The shaded section on this side and the shaded section on this side will be the same area, and it's this one right here. So 1 minus 0.95, that's 0.05. And you divide that by 2, and you get 0.025. So this area that I have shaded in red is 0.025. And then what you do on your calculator is I already started it. I wanted to make sure that it was there. Um, again, we're looking up an area, so that's going to be an inverse norm, but it's not the same as we did a while ago. This is what we did a while ago, and we're using a Z. But you do second distribution, and you do inverse T, because again, since we're working with the sample standard deviation, we're going to be doing a t-score, okay, or a t-interval. And so this is the inverse. We're finding a t-value, so we're going to choose option number 4. But then you just put in the area. It has to be the area to the left, 0.025. And this time they are asking you for the degrees of freedom. On StatCrunch, they allow you to just put in the sample size, and then StatCrunch calculates the degrees of freedom. But on the calculator right here, you're going to have to remember that if the sample size is 16, the degrees of freedom is one less than that. So you type in 15, and then it's going to that's what it looks like if you have an 83. Although if I remember correctly, I don't think the 83s even have the inverse T option, but I could be wrong. That's just my memory from last year. So anyway, there's the line. We paste the information, and they give us the same T score that we got when we did it by hand. What was the T value? Yeah, right there it was. See, 2.131. Now remember, this one is negative 2.131, and this one was positive 2.131. And so when you're doing the calculation, if you're using your calculator to get this T value so that you can do this formula right here, then just be sure you use the positive portion of that formula. Okay, so that's how you can use the calculator on that, but you can also use the calculator to find this interval. You just go to, what did we do? Stat, and then we go over to tests. And this is a T, but not a T test. This is a T interval. So I'm assuming that it's going to be option number 8, because there's Z interval and this is a T interval. Why is it a T interval? Because we were only provided the standard deviation of the sample. The standard deviation of the sample is what we know. Okay. And so when we know only the sample standard deviation, we have to do T test, a T interval. Sorry, T interval. So I'm going to choose option number 8. And again, it's asking me, do I have a list of data or do you have the statistics? We have the statistics. So I press enter right there. And then this is where it just wants me to put the information in. So here is my X bar. My X bar is 162. So I'm going to go down and type in 162. My sample standard deviation with a sample standard deviation of 10. And then my sample size, here they're asking for the size of my sample. They didn't ask me for the degrees of freedom. They asked me for my sample size. And then they want to know what the level of confidence is, the confidence interval. So it's 0.95. And so we tab down to calculate and you press enter. And it gives us this interval right there, 156.67, 156.67, and 167.33. And that would do it for finding the confidence intervals. You can use the calculator to find your missing t-value for your margin of error, or you can use the confidence interval. Okay,